From an early age, we were conditioned to believe that effort is a virtue, that the more we sweat, the more we control, the more we persist, the more we deserve. This belief became the foundation of modern culture: productivity, goals, achievement. But there's a silent paradox hidden within that teaching. Because if effort were truly the path, why do the greatest transformations happen precisely when we finally let go of control? Why is it that relief, not tension, becomes the trigger for creation? The universe doesn't respond to force. It responds to frequency. It doesn't interpret your struggle as merit. It interprets it as noise. And like a flawless mirror, it reflects back what you actually emit, not what you say you want. Bruce Lipton showed that the body is the biological translator of belief, and Joe Dispenza proved that the field responds to coherence, not to effort. Neville Goddard summed it up in a single phrase that has crossed generations: do not desire, live the end. Manifestation is not achievement, it is remembrance. When you try to prove, you reinforce absence. When you try to control, you confirm fear. But when you enter coherence, when mind, heart, and body move in the same rhythm, the universe has no choice but to reflect it back. At that point, surrender stops being weakness and becomes vibrational precision. Life isn't asking you to fight harder, it's asking you to align better. Since birth, we've been conditioned to associate worth with sacrifice. Work hard, hold on, nothing comes easy. Mantras inherited from a world that believes the universe functions like a linear staircase, where every step must be earned through sweat and struggle. But the quantum field is not a staircase, it is a mirror. And the mirror doesn't reward effort, it simply reflects vibration. The problem is that this culture of tension shaped not only our behavior, but also our biology. Bruce Lipton explains that when the body is constantly exposed to the belief, I must fight to survive, it enters defense mode. The chemistry of survival replaces the chemistry of creation. Blood moves away from the brain and into the muscles, the immune system weakens, and access to higher states of consciousness is blocked. In other words, the harder you try, the less lucid and creative you become. Joe Dispenza expands on this by showing that when we live in constant struggle, we are biologically trapped in the past. Every anxious attempt to control the future is in truth an unconscious repetition of old memories. The body doesn't know it's trying to create something new. It believes it's reacting to the same threat as before. So spiritual effort, or mental work, often ends up perpetuating the very timeline one intended to transcend. But here lies the revelation. The universe is not moral, it is vibrational. It doesn't measure how hard you've worked, but what you're emitting while you work. If your effort stems from the belief, I don't have it yet, your dominant frequency will be that of lack. And the field, honest and literal, will simply confirm lack. The shift begins when you realize that doing more is not the same as being aligned. Some people achieve great things in serenity because they've learned to move in coherence. They don't act from tension, but from truth, and truth vibrates faster than any plan. Imagine yourself standing before a mirror. You stare at it, frustrated, wishing the reflection would smile. You try to force it, speak, repeat positive phrases, but the face in the glass remains still, cold, unmoved, until, without realizing it, you tire. You take a deep breath, and in that instant, when you simply change your own expression, the mirror smiles back. The universe works exactly the same way. The external reality doesn't respond to the force of your voice, but to the precision of your vibration. You can repeat 1,000 times, I am at peace. But if your body vibrates anxiety, the reflection will show turbulence. The energy you are speaks louder than the words you say. And that's why the quantum field seems deaf. It doesn't react to isolated mental intention. It responds to the integrated state you sustain. Bruce Lipton explains that every cell in your body reads the energetic environment and responds in real time. If you feel lack, fear, or urgency, your nervous system sends signals of contraction. That contraction becomes an electromagnetic field, and the universe simply mirrors the same pattern, like a perfect mirror, emotionless, impartial, precise. Joe Dispenza describes this as the fidelity of the field, the cosmic mirror that can only reflect what you maintain with emotional consistency. And here lies the irony. The more you try to convince the mirror, the more it confirms that you don't believe. Insistence reveals doubt, and doubt is the noise that distorts the reflection. Nearly a century ago, Neville Goddard taught the same principle. You do not receive what you ask for, you receive what you accept as true. When inner acceptance shifts, the reflection has no choice but to follow. True transformation, therefore, doesn't come from trying, it comes from naturalness. The mirror doesn't demand effort, it simply replicates what is consistent. If there is serenity within, the outside becomes harmony. If there is clarity within, the outside reorganizes with mathematical precision. The secret is not to shout, but to tune the inner tone until the reflection recognizes it as truth. The block never begins outside. It begins within the body. Every time you try to force an outcome, your nervous system interprets it as danger. The body doesn't distinguish the fear of failure from the threat of a real predator. It enters survival mode, and all your creative potential is redirected towards self-protection. Bruce Lipton explains it simply. The body is the biological transmitter of your beliefs. If the belief is, I must fight, the body generates the chemistry of war: adrenaline, cortisol, muscular tension. This biochemistry not only alters perception, but also contracts your electromagnetic field. Cardiac coherence disappears, and the heart, the true vibrational beacon, loses its ability to synchronize with the field. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while changing the frequency every second. Joe Dispenza describes the same phenomenon as the prison of the past. Every time you react with anxiety, you're reliving the same neurological circuit. The brain fires the same electrical patterns, the body releases the same chemical substances, and the mind repeats the same story. What we call reality is often nothing more than the repetition of emotional memories. That's why so much effort produces so little change. The system is locked in biological repetition. The way out is not to fight the block, but to interrupt the cycle. Breathe, pause, reconnect the body to the present. When you breathe deeply and soften your shoulders, the nervous system receives a new message. It's safe. That sense of safety changes your entire chemistry. The heart slows, the brain expands its focus, and new synapses begin to form, exactly as Lipton and Dispenza demonstrate in their studies on neuroplasticity and coherence. In quantum terms, a block is simply the density of an emotional state that hasn't been updated. You are not stuck. You are overloaded by old frequencies. And the very moment the body relaxes, the field reorganizes. Because the universe doesn't respond to control, it responds to clarity of vibrational safety. When the body says, it's safe to receive, the field replies, then let it be done. In quantum physics, everything exists as potential until someone observes it. This is the famous observer effect. The act of looking, perceiving, giving attention causes the wave of infinite possibilities to collapse into a specific reality. But what almost no one understands is that not every observation creates. It is the state of the observer that determines the nature of the collapse. You don't create merely by looking, you create through emotionally charged observation. When you observe from fear, urgency, or scarcity, your field contracts. And a contracted frequency can only collapse versions of reality compatible with that contraction. That's why situations repeat, doors stay closed, and everything feels heavy. The field is faithfully responding to your internal state. Contraction vibrates lack of space, and the universe obeys, compressing possibilities. Joe Dispenza explains that when the dominant emotion is fear, the brain shifts into high beta synchronization, an electrical pattern associated with vigilance and control. In that state, the body is prepared to react, not to create. Brain waves lose coherence with the heart, and the entire system vibrates in survival. Quantum creation demands the opposite, expansion. When the heart and mind align in alpha and theta frequencies, the body leaves the fight and enters flow. The field reopens to infinite probabilities. Bruce Lipton adds that cells exposed to fearful environments literally close their receptors. Biology and the field behave the same way. Both retract when faced with perceived threat. This means fear doesn't just alter perception, it alters the very structure through which reality manifests. You're not being punished. For low vibration, you're simply operating under a different physics, the physics of contraction. The good news is that the collapse can be reprogrammed. When the body enters vibrational safety, through breath, presence, and a sense of wholeness, frequency expands. And within that expansion, the universe has room to rearrange the pieces that once seemed stuck. What looked like an obstacle becomes a shortcut. What seemed like delay reveals itself as precision. Reality doesn't change because you ask, it changes because you open. The collapse of a contracted frequency isn't punishment, it's simply a reminder. The lighter the observer, the faster the field responds. Resistance is the subtlest paradox of creation. It's that inner impulse that says, I need this to happen, while the real vibration underneath screams, it's still not happening. And the quantum field, honest as a mirror, responds to the second message, not the first. That's why the more you try to push the outcome, the further it seems to slip away. The universe doesn't deny your request, it simply mirrors the frequency you emit when making it. Joe Dispenza calls this phenomenon vibrational inversion. When desire is laced with fear, the body sends an electromagnetic signature opposite to the mind's intention. You think, I want freedom, but feel, I'm afraid to lose it. You think, I want love, but feel, no one chooses me. This incongruence creates noise in the field, and that noise is pure resistance. Bruce Lipton, observing cellular behavior, shows that even cells close themselves in the presence of tension. They enter defense mode, suspending growth. The human mind behaves the same way. While you vibrate in, I must fix this, your biological and energetic systems interpret, we're in danger. And all creative energy, which is expansive, light, exploratory, gets redirected toward survival. Resistance, therefore, is the repulsive force of desire. It's invisible, yet the body feels it. Tense shoulders, shallow breath, clenched jaw, eyes locked on what's missing. In that state, you unconsciously tell the field, I'm not ready, and the field obediently pauses the flow. But there's a way out, vibrational permission. It's born the moment you stop trying to control the path and return to the body. Breathe, soften, let go. In that instant, the body emits a different kind of signal, the signal of surrender. And surrender is not giving up, it's trust, coded into frequency. It's the moment the universe feels you've created enough space to receive. Resistance pushes, permission attracts. You don't lose what you release, you simply make room for it to finally arrive. The force that once repelled becomes the magnetism that draws it near. Manifestation then stops being a pursuit and becomes a consequence. Surrender isn't giving up, it's changing vibration. It's the moment when you stop trying to push life with your hands and begin to guide it with your field. It's the passage from force to frequency, from anxiety to coherence. On an energetic level, surrender isn't the end of action, it's the end of resistance. The confusion arises because we mistake control for safety. We believe we'll only be protected if we stay in command. And ironically, that belief is what keeps us at war with the flow. When you try to control every step, the body vibrates in alert mode. The heart races, the mind monitors. The whole system enters hypervigilance. And in that frequency, the quantum field finds no space to reorganize anything, because everything is being micromanaged by tension. Bruce Lipton shows that the human body is a reading instrument of the field. When you relax, physiologically relax, the cells shift from defense mode to growth mode. The DNA begins to express new codes. Biology transforms through the belief in safety. In other words, the body only changes when it feels it can trust, and that trust is the very core of surrender. Joe Dispenza describes it as coherence between the heart and the brain. When the emotion of trust replaces fear, the two centers begin to vibrate in sync. The electromagnetic signal becomes clear, steady, magnetic. You no longer need to push anything, the field moves on its own. It's the point where desire stops being a request and becomes a memory lived in the present. Surrender is an act of power. It's saying, I trust the intelligence that created me. It's allowing life to do what it has always known how to do, bloom toward coherence. There is no weakness in that. There is wisdom. Because when you stop trying to control the river, you realize it always knew where to go. And in truth, you were never the swimmer. You were always the current. Your body is not just a vehicle. It's a biological antenna, sensitive and precise. Every cell, every heartbeat, every change in temperature is a transmission. The body is the mediator between the invisible and the visible. It translates into biochemistry what you feel, believe, and energetically sustain. That's why the universe doesn't respond to what you say, but to what your body emits. Bruce Lipton proved that cells read their environment and adjust their genetic expression according to the electromagnetic field around them. When you vibrate in fear, the entire body enters defense mode. Shallow breathing, tight muscles, immune system on alert. It's a biology of survival. But when you vibrate in trust, the opposite occurs. The parasympathetic system takes over, the heart stabilizes, and the DNA resumes its growth mode. In other words, trust is biology in expansion. Joe Dispenza complements this with the neuroscience of coherence. When the rhythm of the heart aligns with that of the brain waves, a cohesive electromagnetic field is created. Measurable, stable, magnetic. That coherence is literally a signal transmitted to the quantum field, and the field responds. You are not asking, you are emitting a signature of certainty. The body then becomes an instrument of manifestation. A relaxed body breathing in harmony is like a clean antenna. It receives, transmits, and collapses realities with precision. A tense body, on the other hand, is like a detuned radio. The signal scatters, the message distorts, and the field returns static. To trust, therefore, is not a mental concept, it's a physiological state. It's feeling deep in your gut that the universe is safe. It's when the heart beats in its natural rhythm, the stomach softens, and the air flows freely. At that moment, the whole body tells the field, "I'm ready." And the field answers, "Then let it be." Your body is the most honest prayer there is. Before trying to change thoughts, observe the body. It always reveals the vibrational truth. Where there is contraction, there is fear. Where there is softness, there is trust. And the field, unfailingly precise, reflects what the body believes. Control is the most sophisticated addiction of fear. It is the most convincing disguise of spiritual insecurity. The mind believes that by holding all the strings, it's ensuring safety, but what it truly does is block the flow. Control is a desperate attempt to replace trust with vigilance. And nothing disorganizes the field more than the constant tension of someone trying to guarantee what is already guaranteed by their own vibration. Control is born from the illusion of separation. Believing you need to make things happen is forgetting that you are inside an intelligent, self-regulating system that responds to coherence, not to force. It's like trying to push the sun to rise faster. It doesn't obey effort, only synchronicity. Bruce Lipton would say that control is a biology of threat. Every time you try to anticipate, manipulate, or force an outcome, the body interprets it as danger, we're not safe. The nervous system fires, cortisol spikes, and perception narrows. In that state, the brain literally stops seeing opportunities. The field hasn't stopped responding. You've just entered survival mode and lost the channel of synchronicity. Joe Dispenza calls this vibrational incoherence. The mind sends the desire, but the body vibrates fear. The communication between heart and brain breaks, and the field, which only reads coherence, finds no clear signal to mirror. You start confusing movement with progress, when in truth you're just spinning in circles, trying to guarantee something that your own tension is preventing from being born. Letting go of control is not irresponsibility, it's vibrational intelligence. It's recognizing that there is a greater wisdom operating behind appearances. It's understanding that reality isn't pushed, it's summoned by the right frequency. When you release, the body softens, the field realigns, and the pieces begin to move without you having to push a single one. The false safety of control is a paradox. The tighter you hold, the more you lose the flow. True safety arises when you trust enough to open your hand. Because the universe has never failed. It was only waiting for you to stop interfering with what was already ready to arrive. Imagine a surface of water. When it's agitated, it distorts everything it tries to reflect, the face, the sky, the light. But when it becomes still, the reflection appears perfect, clear, effortless. It's the same with your energetic field. The universe doesn't respond to the agitation of the mind, but to the stillness of coherence. The more you try to make the water stop, the more ripples you create. True stillness is born from trust, not control. Water is a precise metaphor because it does not resist. It flows, adapts, curves around, yet never loses its essence. You can pour water into a glass, a river, or an ocean. It remains water. In the same way, your consciousness can move through phases, roles, and situations. What changes is the container, not the essential nature of being. When you remember this, the reflection of reality realigns. Nothing needs to be forced, only allowed. In the language of quantum physics, this is called coherent collapse. The field only returns a stable image when the observer stops interfering. As long as there is emotional noise, fear, urgency, doubt, the collapse cannot occur because the waves are in conflict. But when presence arises, the field organizes itself. The reflection appears, and what once seemed like a miracle reveals itself as the natural result of a calm mind. Joe Dispenza describes this state as the intelligence of silence. It's when the nervous system shifts from survival mode to creative mode. The heart slows down, brainwaves move from beta to alpha, and a sense of expansion takes over. In that state, the quantum field doesn't need to be commanded. It simply obeys clarity. Water reflects because it is clear, not because it tries. You manifest when you are coherent, not when you are exhausted. The secret has always been vibrational transparency, allowing the field to reflect what you are, not what you're trying to show. The moment the mind grows quiet and the body trusts, the inner water becomes still, the reflection forms, and the universe can finally see your true face. There comes a point where effort stops helping and starts getting in the way. It's the moment when you've already planted, already tended, already directed enough energy, yet you keep trying to push the seed to sprout. At that point, force becomes noise, and the quantum field, which only responds to stable signals, interprets that excess as doubt. Resonance is the opposite of that. It's the state in which you emit a pure, continuous tone, free from interference. It's not about forcing the melody. It's about vibrating in the right note until the universe sings along. On an energetic level, the difference between effort and resonance is simple. Effort tries to convince the field. Resonance reminds it. Effort shouts, "I'm not yet." Something's still missing. Resonance whispers, "I already am," and the field, obediently, rearranges everything around you to confirm that silent certainty. What we call manifestation is nothing more than that remembrance reflected back through form, time, and space. Bruce Lipton would say that a coherent body is the biology of resonance. DNA operates in growth mode, the immune system balances, and cells exchange information in harmony. There's no resistance, only communication. Joe Dispenza adds that a coherent heart emits a measurable magnetic field that literally alters the environment. When you reach that state, it's no longer the I trying to change the world. It's the field responding to its own harmony. You stop being the executor and become the channel. Resonance is what happens when your inner yes is uninterrupted. Not an anxious yes, nor one conditioned by outcomes, but a calm, physiological, integrated yes. The kind of yes the body feels, the heart confirms, and the mind falls silent before. At that point, there's no more trying. There is flow, and everything congruent with that flow begins to approach you. People, opportunities, ideas, solutions. The universe doesn't understand effort, it understands rhythm. And when you vibrate in rhythm with the intelligence of the field, nothing needs to be conquered. Everything is revealed. From that point on, creation becomes natural, because you have become natural too. You don't manifest through technique, but through presence. You don't chase outcomes, you live in frequency. And what once seemed like a distant destiny becomes the inevitable reflection of your resonance. In the end, it all comes down to this. Life doesn't respond to your effort, it responds to your vibration. Peace is not the absence of movement, it is full presence within movement. It's when you act without tension, desire without lack, and create without fear. That's the point where the universe stops being a field to be conquered and becomes a clear mirror of your coherence. Reality is not something to be controlled, it naturally bends before your inner stability. The paradox is that the more you let go, the faster things move, because control is weight and trust is lightness. Weight delays the collapse of possibilities, lightness accelerates it. Bruce Lipton showed that when the body feels safe, it enters growth mode, and everything expands. Joe Dispenza demonstrated that when the heart and brain are in sync, the field responds instantly. There's no magic in this, only the physics of consciousness. Low frequency resists, high frequency allows. True mastery isn't about knowing how to force, It's about knowing how to flow. It's not about acquiring power. It's about remembering that power was never lost. The universe isn't testing you. It's merely reflecting your own clarity. When the body rests and the heart trusts, the mind stops negotiating with reality and begins co-creating with it. Life becomes a harmonic conversation, not a debate. Repeat internally as a code returning you to center. I allow it to be easy. I trust the rhythm. I am the peace that creates. Let these words sink from the mind into the body until they become breath, until they become heartbeat. Because the moment you feel peace, the field feels clarity, and it's exactly there in that lucid silence that creation happens. Without effort, without delay, without doubt, only response.